Gotham Knights is a game we've been waiting for some time now, and it's finally about to release. But should you be buying Gotham Knights, or is it fit for a lifetime in Arkham Asylum? Here is everything you need to know about the game before you part ways with your hard-earned cash. Fans of the DC universe will no doubt be salivating at the thought of jumping back into the Arkham universe and learning more about the deep and dark twisted world of Batman. Gotham Knights is a fresh take on the way the Batman games are presented, and for the most part it holds up quite well. You can pick and choose between 4 Arkham heroes: Nightwing, Batgirl, Robin and Red Hood. Each of these heroes has their own set of unique abilities and skills, which, of course, can be upgraded over time during the game. As per usual, with near enough every modern day RPG, you can choose which skill tree path you want to take in the ever-clustered array of upgrades. The grind to gain upgrade points is as long as you would imagine getting to the higher levels, but once you do reach the upper tiers, you will feel like the true hero Batman would have wanted you to be. The only question is, do you have the patience for this? Gotham Knights is a long game, and it's going to take you quite a while to get to the end sections, so it's more of a question if you've got the time to play this. It's not just a simple pick up and play kind of game. If you want to be finishing this, you need to put a serious amount of time into it, and if you're looking to platinum it, you're going to need even more time. So I suppose it's a case of how dedicated you're going to be to the game when it comes to picking it up or not. There are casual play elements to it, don't get me wrong, and you can still have fun without having to complete the game. But overall, it's probably one that you're going to want to put a lot of time into, so in that sense it is value for money. It's probably time we address the elephant in the room, that 30 FPS frame rate cap. Look, it's 2022, and this really should not be an issue anymore unless the game in question is for the Nintendo Switch. You have games from 2 years ago now, made by much smaller studios running at 120 FPS with ray tracing, so why has Gotham Knights fallen so short when it had such a massive team working on it? Does the frame rate affect the game overall? Not fully, but there are moments with fast-paced combat that come across extremely ropey and struggle to keep up at times. It feels graphically on par with Arkham Knight, which is not exactly the best compliment seeing as that game came out in 2015, a full 8 years ago. Graphics aren't the be-all and end-all of a game, don't get me wrong, and the actual gameplay feels solid enough to enjoy throughout. You can traverse across the city by either using your trusty grappling hook or on the ground using the bat cycle. Using the bat cycle is quick and easy and it looks good enough. There are plenty of routes to explore on the ground and the GPS system will help you get to your location. But again, this is exactly what we got in Arkham Knights, so it's nothing really new to the series. It holds up well enough, but it doesn't really add anything to the game as well. We've seen this sort of travel a million times before, so it's not really revolutionary in a sense. It's playing it safe, but you know, safe works sometimes. Combat in the game is hit and miss, pardon the pun. You trick, flip and thwack your way through enemies, piling them up and collecting evidence and clues along your way. Damaging some enemies enough will let you interrogate them and grab some more clues to help solve your cases. The actual interrogation process seems a bit easy to me. It might just be me who thinks this, but having a way more intricate and complicated interrogation process would add another layer of realism to the game. At present, you only have to press one button to interrogate your victim fully. It's easy, but just seems a bit lazy in the grand scheme of things. Once you have all your clues, you can begin your search for the criminals. Quite often, the whole mission will be split into 2 parts, combat or stealth, followed by some puzzle solving. The puzzles, for the most part, revolve around scanning rooms for clues, and then joining the evidence together using very basic lines and dot-to-dot style methods. If you can't be bothered with all that jazz though, there is an option to skip it all and solve the puzzle immediately. Could these puzzles be more in-depth than just trial and error and joining the dots? For sure, but they can consume enough time as it is just by piecing everything together. Some puzzles involve different elements than just finding passcodes as well, like taking blood samples to match the DNA to the bodies. This variety keeps puzzles fresh while still using the same simplistic method to solve them all. The actual puzzles are challenging enough, and even though joining the dot-to-dot was quite easy, the puzzles themselves were quite difficult. Quite often there will be multiple layers to some of the puzzles, and sometimes I find myself getting stuck in a hole of what the heck is going on in this puzzle. In a very flip the Monopoly board off the table moment, I would just scrap the whole puzzle and start again. So often was the case that the solution was right in front of my eyes and I just couldn't notice it. But all that did was add to the satisfaction when I eventually did solve them. Cosmetics are in plentiful supply during Gotham Knights, and it's your mission to craft them all. There are resources scattered across Gotham and you'll need a lot of them in order to finish everything in the crafting section. Do you necessarily need a new bat suit? Well, no, not really, but it's always good to look the part when taking down enemies. What you should be focusing on are the weapon upgrades. Your starting arsenal feels like pea shooters when taking on enemies in the early stages of the game, so all your focus should be on upgrading them. It's not too difficult to get enough materials to enhance the weapons to an acceptable level, thankfully, so you should be at a decent enough level soon enough. The crafting system will be familiar to anyone who has played an RPG before, so it shouldn't be too hard to get to grips with. Once you've upgraded your weapons enough, you'll feel like you'll be able to take on the world. Enemies won't be a challenge to you anymore, and you'll actually start to feel like a true hero. So, now for the big question, should you buy this game? Fans of the previous Batman entries will enjoy this game for the most part, but may be left with a desire for more when they get a bit further into the game. While it does play well, the bond between the player and the main character is nowhere near as strong as it was when you were just playing it as a singular character running the shop. I for sure felt more drawn towards playing with just one or two of the main characters rather than chopping and changing all the time. Each character does have their own unique style, but once you find one that's in your favour, it's difficult to move away from them. This kind of defeats the purpose of having multiple heroes. I admire the studio for giving us the option, but I feel few people will fully explore every hero as much as first anticipated. It's a good length game which has as many positives as lows. Don't get me wrong, there are a few elements that could do with being improved, but I'm sure patches over time and DLCs will help them grow this game into a full universe. Overall, the game feels like a full Batman experience that any fan will enjoy. This game is a time-consuming Batman experience that once again allows you to explore the depths and heights of Gotham City. There are some downsides to the game, and that frame rate can be downright brutal sometimes, but overall it's still an enjoyable experience. Improvements to elements like interrogation and travel across the map would not go amiss, but overall we will give Gotham Knights a 7 out of 10. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe to GG Recon Gaming for more news and reviews.